Oluyole FM 98.5.
The time is 6 o'clock on Oluyole 98.5 FM, Ibadan.
The news.
Good evening. This is Tabitha Komolafe. Reading with me is
Josephine Oluwabumi. Good evening.
Bringing you Newscope, our daily news program of in-depth report, interviews, and commentaries. First, the highlight. President Tinubu, Oyo acting governor, calls for national prayers at Eden Mulud.
Federal government orders immediate rescue of Niger mass abduction victims.
First batch of Nigerian xenophobia returnees expected from South Africa on Wednesday.
On the foreign scene, one killed, over 120 injured in Russia gas explosion.
And now the details. President Tinubu urged Muslims across the country to use this year's Eid al-Maulud celebration to renew their commitment to the virtues of devotion, perseverance, tolerance, humility, and selflessness exemplified by Prophet Muhammad. The president, who congratulated the Muslim faithful on the commemoration of the birth of the Holy Prophet, said the occasion should go beyond festivities to serve as a period of introspection, prayer, and reflection on the Prophet's teachings. He urged the faithful to extend their fellowship to the needy and vulnerable in the spirit of celebration. In a statement issued today by Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, President Tinubu said Nigerians had much to learn from the life and conduct of Prophet Muhammad. President Tinubu also called on religious leaders to use the occasion to offer prayers for Nigeria and encourage their followers to translate the lessons of the Prophet's life into greater commitment to the peace, unity, and progress of the country.
The acting governor for your state, Barrister Adebayo Lawal, has congratulated the Muslim Ummah in the state and across Nigeria on the occasion of this year's Eid al-Maulud, a special festival commemorating the birth of Prophet Muhammad. This was contained in a statement issued and signed by the Special Advisor Media to Oyo State Governor Dr. Sulaiman Olaniwaju. Barrister Lawal called on Muslims to imbibe the core of Prophet's teachings and exemplary life he led. He also expressed appreciation to the Muslim community in Oyo State for their steadfast support for the administration of Governor Seyi Makinde over the past 7 years.
President Tinubu has ordered an immediate coordinated security operation to rescue victims of the recent mass abduction in Niger State, directing the nation's security and intelligence agencies to ensure that all those taken captive are accounted for. The president directed the Armed Forces, Nigeria Police Force, Department of State Services, DSS, and other relevant security and intelligence. President Tinubu, who expressed outrage over the abduction and killing of innocent citizens by criminal elements in the state, also ordered the service chiefs to provide him with regular briefings on the progress of the rescue operation until all those abducted are accounted for. The presidential directive followed attacks on several communities in the remote Bogu local government area of Niger State, during which scores of residents were abducted, including worshippers attending Friday prayers at a mosque in Penya village. Bogu local government chairman Abdullahi Muhammad Nasir said at least 60 people were kidnapped in the attacks, while an unspecified number of residents sustained gunshot injuries as they attempted to escape from the assailants. President Tinubu also assured the Niger state government of the federal government's full support in responding to the attack, including assistance for recovery and relief efforts, as well as reinforcement of security in affected communities.
The federal government has announced that another batch of 65 Nigerians will return to the country from South Africa on Wednesday, August the 26th, 2026. In a press statement today, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the returnees, sponsored by private individuals, will depart South Africa on Wednesday. The ministry said the returnees are expected to arrive at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, the same day. The ministry appreciated the private individuals sponsoring the returnees and other stakeholders supporting the process. It also assured that relevant government agencies would continue to coordinate the safe return of Nigerians to the country.
Data on unmanned aircraft systems, combat casualty care and other military skills as part of efforts to deepen security cooperation between both countries. The training is taking place at an operating location in Bauchi State under a broader U.S.-Nigeria security cooperation mission focused on improving military capability, operational readiness, and long-term partner capacity. The United States Africa Command, AFRICOM, disclosed this in a report, noting that the training program covers combat lifesaver and tactical combat casualty care, weapons familiarization, camouflage, water treatment and testing, explosive ordnance disposal, small unit tactics, and unmanned aircraft systems. It said the training areas were selected from options provided by U.S. personnel based on their expertise and the needs identified by their Nigerian counterparts.
The Minister of Finance and organizations to patronize indigenous digital solutions to promote economic growth and data sovereignty. He made the call during a courtesy visit to a private indigenous digital solutions company in Abuja. The minister called on Nigerians to support the federal government's Buy Nigeria, Make Nigeria initiative by patronizing locally developed software, hardware, and other digital infrastructure. He said greater patronage of indigenous technology would contribute to data sovereignty and strengthen Nigeria's competitiveness in the global digital economy. According to him, some Nigerian organizations that patronize locally made technology have found it to be more affordable while maintaining better quality. Mr. Oyedele further affirmed that digital economy remained a key area of government's economic growth agenda, requiring deliberate investment in infrastructure, innovation, and local technology.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has intensified nationwide enforcement of the federal government's ban on the manufacture, distribution, and sale of alcoholic beverages packaged in sachet and plastic bottles below 200 milliliters. The agency said the enforcement, which entered a fresh phase in 2026, aims to eliminate prohibited pack sizes from the Nigerian market and reduce the ease with which highly concentrated alcoholic beverages are accessed by minors and young people. NAFDAC said the current enforcement followed an undertaking signed by the Distillers and Blenders Association of Nigeria, DIBAN, the Association of Food, Beverage and Tobacco Employers, AFBTE, and their member companies, committing them to stop the production of alcoholic beverages in sachet. According to the agency, the ban is not a new policy but the outcome of an 8-year regulatory process involving government agencies, manufacturers, and other industry stakeholders.
This broadcast of Newscope is coming to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. The Federation of Ibadan Indigenous Medical Practitioners has reiterated commitment to harnessing the collective strength of Ibadan medical practitioners at home and abroad for the advancement of medicine. The Federation also stated its commitment to the well-being of the people and the sustained development of Ibadan land. These assurances came at the end of the Federation of Ibadan Indigenous Medical Practitioners inaugural meeting convened in Ibadan by the Are Bashegun of Ibadan land, Dr. Bola Adetunji. A release signed by the Federation coordinator, Dr. Wale Falano, also emphasized that the Federation was not formed to compete with existing professional associations, but rather a complementary platform designed to bring together Ibadan medical practitioners for the common good. The release also listed key areas of focus to include strengthening intergenerational relationships through the mentoring of younger colleagues, passing on professional knowledge, values, and leadership experience, with further emphasis on humanitarian services, community development, and strategic partnerships. The inaugural meeting, conducted in a hybrid format with members within Nigeria and across continents participating virtually, had in attendance the convener and Federation initiator, our Dr. Bola Adetunji and Dr. B.V. Bello, who are both former commissioners for health in Oyo State, as well as other eminent, distinguished medical practitioners and personalities.
Food is an essential part of everyday life, but when contaminated or improperly handled, it can pose serious health risk. The reported death of 4 family members in Kogi State after reportedly consuming amala are renewed concerns about food safety, with investigations ongoing to determine the cause of the death. Our reporter Oluyole reports.
Food is an essential part of everyday life, with millions of Nigerians depending on meals prepared at home, restaurant, and other food outlets. But when food is contaminated by harmful bacteria, Zumi and Mala have heightened concerns about food safety as investigations continue to establish the exact cause of the death. Speaking with BCOS News, a professor of food science and technology, Professor Rahman Akiosho, explained that food poisoning occurs when contaminated food contains harmful substances capable of causing illness. He urged the public to observe proper food hygiene, wash fruit and vegetables thoroughly, and avoid consuming food with abnormal color, taste, or smell, or visible signs of spoilage.
We consume food for satisfaction, to give us energy, for well-being. When you eat a food and you have abnormal feeling, whether you are vomiting or you start toileting or you have abdominal pain, that means something that's not supposed to be in your system has found its way into your system. If you are trying to introduce anything to food, look at it whether it is safe for human consumption. If something is not known to be edible, please don't introduce it to food.
Also speaking, Dr. Tunde Lawal identified diarrhea, vomiting, abdomen, consume clean water and properly prepared food, and exercise caution when buying meals from roadside vendors, markets, and event centers.
It comes also with vomiting, diarrhea and vomiting. When you have diarrhea and vomiting, you usually call it gastroenteritis, which is the inflammation of your stomach and the intestines. So that is what it calls. Then when it comes to blood, we call it dysentery. But the danger of it is that if you just neglect it and go to any side pharmacy and take some tablets, they may stop partially, but they come back fully. And when they come back fully, that's when you have dehydration. Your blood pressure becomes low, your pulse becomes fast, you're feeling drowsy, you have growling of your stomach. Sometimes it may even perforate your bowel. Be passing quite plenty of blood along, then you come in shock and it can cause death.
A medical nurse, Mrs. Toyin Alegbeleye, called for regular health checks for workers in eateries and restaurants, while urging sanitary inspectors to conduct routine inspection of food outlets to ensure compliance with hygiene and food safety standards.
There should be periodic checks of staff in any eatery, particularly institutions. The normal practice should be to change them periodically. They should not stay more than 1 year. Bring in a new set of people. Something like that would ensure that the students are in safe hands. They just don't eat anything that can cause them gastroenteritis or food poisoning.
Food vendors and caterers, on their part, have a crucial role to play by maintaining clean cooking environments, preventing cross-contamination, and that cooked food is properly stored and handled. Health experts advise anyone experiencing severe vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, fever, or unusual weakness after eating to seek medical attention promptly. They stress that preventing food poisoning is a shared responsibility involving food vendors, handlers, and consumers. Oyeshile Oluyole, BCOS News.
On the foreign scene, at least 120 people were injured and one Chinese worker was killed after a fire broke out today at a major gas chemical complex under construction in Russia's Far East, officials said. 19 people were being treated in hospitals as emergency crew worked to contain the blaze, while specialists carried out a controlled burn of remaining industrial gases. Foreign Desk Editor Folashade Akintola compiled the story and others as presented by Bimbo Akambi.
More than 120 people were injured after a fire broke out Tuesday at a gas chemical complex under construction in Russia's Far East, with one Chinese worker killed in the incident, authorities and the facility said. At least 19 people were receiving treatment in hospital, while more than 100 others suffered injuries, according to the facility. The incident occurred at the Amur Gas Chemical Complex in Russia's Amur region. The project is a joint venture between Russian petrochemical company Sibor and Chinese energy giant Sinopec, and is planned as one of the world's largest producers of polyethylene and polypropylene. The facility has not yet begun production and remains under construction. Russia has increasingly relied on foreign workers, including Chinese nationals, for major infrastructure and industrial construction projects. Emergency crews remained at the site on Tuesday as efforts continued to extinguish the fire. Specialists were also carrying out a controlled burn of the remaining industrial gases, the facility said. The cause of the fire and the full extent of the damage were not immediately clear. Authorities are expected to investigate the incident. A tornado has torn through the village of Pumas in southwest France, injuring 39 people and damaging hundreds of homes. Authorities said 15 people were taken to hospital and 2 were in a critical condition. One man said his pregnant wife was injured after their house collapsed on her. More than 120 emergency workers were deployed to the village south of Carcassonne after winds reaching 117 kilometers per hour, that is about 73 miles per hour, tore roofs off houses and damaged an estimated 300 homes on Monday. The third stage of the Vuelta a España cycle race, which was taking place in the Aude area of southwestern France, had to be cancelled when a hailstorm forced the riders to take shelter about 15 kilometers from the finish line.
There was a lot of wind. It was very, very violent, very sudden. There was a lot of sleet and hail, large chunks of it. I can see that I've got a PVC door that's been smashed with the big hail impact marks.
The extreme weather has left about 2,800 homes across 10 villages without electricity, according to officials. Local sub-prefect Emmanuel Plantier-Lemachan told French radio that she was not aware of anyone missing. She lowered the number of victims from 41 to 39 and said 15 of them had been treated in hospital. French authorities had issued an orange alert for thunderstorms in large parts of the country's southwest, which have already been hit by power outages and transport disruptions. Finally, authorities in South Sumatra, Indonesia, have turned to spiritual measures as wildfires rage across forests and peatlands, shrouding parts of the country in hazardous haze. About 3,000 residents gathered on Tuesday in Palembang, the provincial capital, to perform Salat Istikar, a special Islamic prayer for rain in the courtyard of the governor's office. Worshippers stood shoulder to shoulder as thick smoke reduced visibility and forced motorists to drive with headlights on during the day. South Sumatra currently has the highest number of wildfire hotspots in Indonesia, with 1,429 detected by Environment Ministry satellites, followed by West Kalimantan with 1,226 and Central Kalimantan with 811. Nearly 940 square kilometers, that is about 360 square miles of land burned in July alone, officials say, including more than 20 square kilometers, that's about 8 square miles in South Sumatra. Emergency crews are battling fires driven by an intensifying El Nino pattern and a prolonged dry season. Emergency crews are battling fires driven by an intensifying